What is up? What is up, everybody? It is me, Mike V, and we are live here today. Let's go. Let's go. How's our angle? That's a pretty good angle. Going through and going to do this class here talking about starting with AI. Give a little bit of a recap. I suppose I can probably show and tell. Let me bring this bad boy over here to this window. Hi, window. And then let me go ahead and share that screen for right now. Share screen. Let's go ahead and share our entire screen. And which one? That one right there. So this is the repository that we worked with last time. This is our class here. So let's go ahead and put this in the chat. Here's the repo for today's class. And if you don't know, repository, GitHub repository is just a place where we can store files, where we store code. So let's talk through this a little bit, right? So github.com, that's the service website that's providing me this opportunity to create my content. Vanderpool Teacher, that is my GitHub username. That's also my account. And then I have a repository, which is just a folder that's being tracked. Inside of that, Start with AI is the name of the folder. This is a public repository. It's kind of cool. You can make sure everybody can see it. You can make a private repository if there's a private project that you want to work on. There are some limitations for having things public and or private. You see here you have folders and files. This looks just like, for the most part, just like
quizzes reviewed. The knowledge checks, the assessment students.
This looks
now linking it from the main README so the folder isn't orphaned, then committing.
Okay, that's my AI talking to me, right? That's how this thing works. If we look here, we've got folders and files, which is pretty much just like folders and files on a computer. And that's really what this is, right? It's just a file, a computer server that's serving us up some files. There is a README file here. So if I click on this README, you could look at it right here, but also when you're at the base here, the README shows up. Now, a README file is super important. Hey, what's up, Mitchell? A README file is super, super important. I'm just going over a little bit of GitHub here. Let me finish this off and we can chit chat. I also sent you a link on LinkedIn if you wanted to pop in like Dave did the other day. The README here, so GitHub repository, Vanderpool Teacher, Start with AI. It's linked right here. Go ahead and just star that thing. Boom, schlock, lock, boom, and show it. The README file really tells us what is inside of the repository. This is super, super important, right? And one of the things that's happening to me with AI is keeping track of what you're building, right? And one of the ways that we keep track of what we're building is through documentation. Now, previously, I've worked with developers and folks for a long time where documentation was an afterthought. And the documentation as an afterthought is almost always documentation that never gets built. So here today, and with AI, I've been leading by creating documentation first. I've also built a couple things that when I create a repository or anything, that it will automatically make a README file. We'll talk a little bit about how some of this stuff works, right? So this is the workshop materials here that you're going to find for organizing your life and business with AI. Everything here is a working skill. Ooh, we can see this. This is not updated. All right. This hasn't been updated since what I really did. This was created. Oh, it was updated 2 minutes ago. So sure, maybe it was. What's in here? We've got a skills folder that has a skill called business card. You can take a photo of a business card and it becomes a contact, a task, a draft email, and archives the original. We have the skills for the morning plan, gives us today's weather, travel gaps. We'll take a look at that one first here in a hot second. We've got our skills, which is our daily briefing, reads every inbox that I have and answers one question, what I need to do today. And then an email triage sorts what's actually waiting on you, drafts replies, and never sends anything. So this daily briefing and this email triage feel like they might be similar, but we'll actually check that thing out. So each of these, then we've got some docs. There's a docs folder that Claude created. And this docs folder here shows us what is a skill. A skill, this is what we talked about last class, and again, I'm kind of reviewing here. It is 3:30. We'll get started in a hot second. Mitchell, go ahead and throw in the chat what it is you're hoping to learn today, and then the other person out there watching.
Syllabus and schedule now written. The ticks are accurate. Final verification.
Please go ahead and throw in the chat what you're hoping to learn today, or what you kind of learned and appreciated from last time. Get the conversation started over there for me. But a skill is a folder with a markdown file in it. So on the root of your computer, there is a .claude file. That dot just means it's a hidden folder. It won't show up unless you do something special. It's in a skills folder. Each skill, and skill is just basically a routine, it has its own name, and then there's a file called skill.md, marked down just a text file, and that skill.md explains the steps of what that skill should actually do. We don't need to install here. We don't need any configuration, no restart. The folder exists, so the skill exists. Now, this is on my computer. I actually have the skills loaded here. You can see them on the left side. You can come in here and you can download any of these. You can copy this entire repository. Lots of stuff of and beyond the Call of Duty. When we look at a skill, there's two parts, right? The skill MD, you open it up. Well, there's multiple parts, but there's two main parts. There's the name of it. This is what it's called and how you can reference it. And then the description. So use when the user starts their day or says good morning, gives the weather, where they be, and all this happy stuff. So let's actually show what this looks like. So I'm going to go over here and let me exit full screen. You can see my screen, right, Mitchell? I hope, yeah, I can see it there. Let me go and exit full screen. I'm going to pull this over to the left side here, and let me grab my virtual assistant here. I'll make it go on the right side. Notice I called it it. We shouldn't call our AIs he or she or anything else like that, because they are not real. They are not real. They are not real. But if I come over here now and good morning, say good morning to my AI. Again, that's because I have the voice command turned on, right? Hopefully this will go ahead, and as it's Clauding, can you see that down there? We should probably bring this up so it's above the fold, right? Or above the little thing that we got down there. Let's resize this slightly. Yeah, there we go. Now you can see what's going on. Maybe bring this one up a little bit too. We're just getting started, folks. There we go. There we go. Claude was struggling a little bit this morning. We've switched over to Opus 4.8. That's an older model, but it seems to be working fairly well right now. So look, so it just loaded the skill, good morning, and it's running one shell command. And this is the most important thing I've realized, and I think everybody has to kind of come to grips with. AI is not doing magic. AI is creating code, because the only way you can navigate files and folders on a computer is through code. So AI is that translation layer between, hi, Steve, how are you? Good. I'm live streaming. Do you want to come say hi to the people?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Mitchell McKenzie is here. I'm talking through how AI works with skills and hooks and everything else like that.
It's amazing.
Yeah, making it
The
more
prompts are the key.
deterministic.
Prompts are the key.
How you organize your
Yeah.
work is also pretty fundamental.
That's awesome.
Did you have time to talk right now?
I just got on the way out the door
Okay.
a little bit, but
'Cause-
when you're done live streaming,
Can I walk with you? Because it'll take 2 minutes.
oh no, I can stay.
Oh, okay.
So let me know when you're done with
Well,
this.
I'll be done with this in I just started. So
Okay.
it's going to be till 5. I'm assuming you're going to all leave before then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Can we just walk and talk right
Yeah,
now?
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I'll be right back. And there's my AI doing something. It'll talk
It's
at you in
actually
a second.
3:33 p.m. The afternoon's mostly behind
Mitch, I'll be
you.
right back.
So this is really an evening plan, not a morning one. Let me pull what's left of today.
Okay.
Because you don't need the agencies.
Right.
We're here anyways. My stuff is free.
Okay.
Go live.
Awesome. Yeah. What's up, folks? Sorry about that. I had to have a conversation with my good friend Steve. We are back. Is everybody still out there? Everybody still out there? All right, all right. So, guess who's back? Guess who's back? Oh, who's down there? I didn't even see you guys. Hold on. There you are. Add to stage. Add to stage. Mitchell. Dave, I couldn't see you below the fold on my stupid screen. What's up, man? Mitchell, I feel bad. I didn't know who that was last time. What's up, man? How are you? There we go. Make that go away. What's up, Dave? Sorry about that. Steve Hansen came in and I've been trying to talk to him for about 2 weeks.
Oh.
All right. So, how's everybody feeling? How you doing today? Dave?
I worked for 2 or 3 hours this week on this, and I don't think I've gained a single inch.
Really? Okay.
I worked on CoWork setup, and supposedly it created a skill for me. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it created this skill for me that when I type it in, nothing happens. And it says it doesn't know what the skill is. But yet it said it created it.
So here's my question, right? And let me go ahead and do this. Are you using?
I am not using Terminal. I am just using chat.
So if you're here, I think I can make that. Can I actually increase the size of this? So you're using the desktop app.
Yes.
Okay. And you're clicking on code here.
No.
You need to click on code here in order to be able to access code. Home here is just like your general chat / conversations that you would have with like a chat GPT. Code is what you need to click on to be able to actually go through and do the cool stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got a blank screen now. It just says, "What's up next, Dave?"
Yeah, what's up next, Michael, right, is what I have here. Now, here's an interesting thing, right? So all of the things that I've built have been over here in the terminal because that's just where I'm finding the most kind of the best, I don't know the best way to say it. This is where I've been most comfortable building in the terminal because it's getting me as close to the core as possible. So I feel like I've got a good idea of what's going on here. What I found out yesterday was that if I come over here, remember we built those skills, the email skill and everything else? If I come over here, say, what are the skills we have access to? Claude in the desktop app, Claude code in the desktop app does not know about Claude in the terminal all the time. If you look here, mine does know now, but that
You
was
have
because
5 groups of skills available. Here's the full roster. Your personal skills built.
that was because I made that connection. So there's a difference here, and it's subtle, but it's important. When you're building Claude tools from the terminal, and I think if I show this presentation, it will help. And bear with me because I can't hear you right now. When you create either hooks or skills in the terminal, go to the next slide, please. Back up. It's actually building it at the root. So do you see here where it says Claude hooks done? This is the skill called done, which we'll talk about a little bit. It's building that hook inside of a folder called hooks. Inside of a folder that is a .claude folder, at the root of your computer. When you build in the terminal, this is where things get built. When you build in the desktop app, it sometimes will get built in a different spot.
Skill.
See if this thing's still talking at me. Okay. Does that make sense?
Well, it makes sense, but I don't have any context.
Well, let's what skill did you build earlier, Dave?
Well, last night it mapped. I described what you were doing with writing in Google Docs and having it track changes and set up cards in Trello.
Okay.
Kind of described that, and it says, "Oh yeah, I know how to do that." It connected to my Trello, and so it says, "I see your board."
Well, can I pause? How did it connect to your Trello? Did you have to give it API access?
All I did was just say connect, and it did. And
Okay.
there was my Trello. I could see it.
So okay. Well, this is, and again, I'm going to go a lot slower today because I want us to make sure we have.
You guys hear me? Is my mic working?
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Mitchell? We can hear you. So there's multiple ways that Claude can interact with your computer. One of the things that Claude can do, and it sounds like what it's doing since it pulled up the board in your browser, like this right here. I think I can pull this over, maybe. We'll leave that there. Claude can actually open your browser and click around and do things. So if I have a Trello board, let's go here.
Now I've got Trello installed on my computer.
Yes.
Okay.
You have the Trello desktop app installed on your computer, correct?
Yeah,
That's what you're saying? Okay. So I can come in here and let me go ahead and check Trello first, right? Which are all the boards that we have? I've got a lot, various projects, operations. Let's go here and let's say open the Trello, make it happen board in the browser. So Claude from the terminal, would you rather I did this from the terminal or from the desktop app?
Well, all the work I did yesterday was in the desktop app. The terminal, I could open up a terminal window and I didn't know how to do anything.
Okay.
I don't know the command
Opened.
line.
Make it happen. Trello.com.
So let's just stick with Claude in the desktop app, because I think what makes sense there is if you understand what's happening in the desktop app, once you get it working in the desktop app, it's easier to go to the terminal than it is to go from the terminal to the desktop app. How's that for you?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So let's do this now. So I'm over in, get this screen arranged so we can stay. Mitchell, what about you? What did you play with? The desktop app or Claude in the terminal or Mitchell, is he gone? Oh, he's gone. Okay. All right. So let me go over here and I'm just going to start a new, so this is all kind of clean, right? If you see down here, I've got my local computer and I've got this working directory, which is Hardy Communications. Oh, here's Mitchell back again. What's up, Mitchell? So down here, I've got my local. This is my entire computer, local computer. I've got this Hardy Communications. Let's just go ahead and add a new folder to work in. And this will be on Google Drive. And again, I'm just picking something here so you don't have to do this. Let me go ahead and say 2026. And
Is my mic working?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Okay, awesome, cool. I'm kind of like delayed. I think the stream or the StreamYard is delayed before the. 'Cause I'm hearing the
Oh
audio
yeah,
twice.
you're gonna want to be watching from the link that I sent and not the StreamYard.
Okay, I'm wondering like it was behind.
Yes.
Okay, I got mine set up through the terminal.
Okay.
I was able to connect the API keys from Trello and GitHub.
Okay.
So now I have access to both.
Okay. Awesome. We're gonna, since Dave is in the desktop app, we're gonna stick there for today. So a couple ways this would work, right? Open the Trello board for Make It Happen. Now, what's awesome is it can work multiple ways. Claude can work multiple ways. If, like Mitchell and myself, you have the Trello API key set up, so you're communicating directly through the programming interface, then what can happen is
Open Make It Happen in your browser. If you want the content,
what'll happen here is that you'll see that Claude was able to open this up in the browser, specifically because I asked for it. The issue with going through the browser is that you are reliant on things take longer, right? It's not as streamlined because Claude is actually clicking the buttons and things like that. With the API, it'll go much faster. But let's do this. I'm going to show you a new project here, right? And I'm going to step through this, and hopefully this will make some sense. So I've got the ability in my Trello workspace to create a new board. In my Trello workspace, create a new board for the KTLCB, that's Keep Toledo Lucas County Beautiful, strategic planning meeting. So this is a conversation and a project that I've been working on for a few days, actually a few months. I'm going to be leading their strategic planning session. We've had a couple meetings. We've come to an agreement on what we're going to build. And I'm going to go through and talk through what I did in order to get this Trello board. You'll see me get this Trello board set up. So the command that I just typed in the desktop app here, I could also do within the terminal. Claude Code, Dave, having Claude Code clicked in the desktop app will give you, I believe, identical functionality to what you get in the terminal. So here
On the desktop app, is he able to utilize it on his phone as well, or is that only through the terminal?
We'll find that out in a hot second, okay? So if I come in here now, it's going to ask me where do I want it to live. I'll put it in my Trello workspace. We're going to leave it. We'll just leave it as an empty board right now. And I think, Mitchell, you can see here, like this interaction is pretty much what you see in the terminal. It's just a little bit prettier, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now it's going to reread the board, and hopefully we should see this stuff happen.
created
here.
and verified by rereading KTLCB Strategic Planning Meeting, Workspace, Trello Workspace, User Workspace, 22,241,374 lists. None, empty board, as asked board ID. 684 B9 C68 C2B 5D 749,509.
Awesome. All right, so now where did it go, right? Do we see it anywhere in here? Maybe I have to refresh the screen. Yep, there it is. KTLCB Strategic Planning Board. Dave, is this making any sense, or is this clearing things up for you? Am I making it more muddy?
Well, I'm in code. I said open Trello to units, and it doesn't even do anything. It doesn't even give me the ability. I got a prompt, but the prompt can't be executed. But it does say something about Git, that Git is required for local sessions.
Okay. Yes, I found this out yesterday. You do have to have Git installed on your computer in order to be able to have this thing work like you want it to.
I mean, I have a Git account, but there has to be a Git app on the computer.
You have to have the Git software installed on your computer.
Okay.
Did you have a PC or a Mac?
I have a PC.
Okay. Yes. You will have to have the Git software installed. Install Git on PC.
I don't see where you install an app. It just opens up a web browser to sign in.
Well, here's the install. In your terminal, you can use, I've never used the winget command here, but it looks like you can install it from here, or you have the standalone installers that you can download from Git itself.
Okay. Oh, no, that doesn't look like it. That is.
And
Yeah,
while you're doing
I've got that same one now.
that same window here,
Yeah.
yeah, you're just going to want to install, obviously, whichever computer you have, chip you have. And I'm going to ask, why does Claude code require Git? I believe it just has something to do with how it reads and writes files, maybe tracks what it does. Oh. Says
It
it.
doesn't. Claude
Okay.
code runs in any direct.
Okay. I ran into this yesterday working with Angela that asked us to install Git, and I don't know if it's I don't know why. We just got a notification that Git was required. Why would that be? I believe it was when we started to create the skills that we ran into it.
Okay.
Did you get it? Did you get it installed, Dave?
It's working on it.
Okay, cool. Bum, 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 bum.
Read the book, download it to GUI, get involved.
Mitchell, while we wait, what were you able to get either the email skills or any of the other things? What was your experience been since last class?
So I was fully able to set up the terminal, connected to GitHub, connect that also to Trello. So now I have Trello boards created. For me, I just made my first. I just set up the Trello board of what I wanted to do as far as steps wise. Now, as far as like running the actual commands, only ones that I've used so far was the morning brief.
Okay. Did you download that from my repo to use it, or did you create
Yes.
your own?
So I downloaded it from the repository.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, but I know you had said you wanted to create your own, right? So that way it doesn't, it knows what you want directly. I'm pretty sure how you said it last class.
I mean, my best advice is going to be open up that skill.md file in that folder and look at it so you kind of understand it. One of the things that I like is about the building of things is that you understand what's there, right? If you just think about this, if you just move into somebody else's old house, right? You don't know like that the toilet runs or that you got to do this or turn this door or the door has to be pushed in to unlock, like all the
Get itself is fine.
all the little intricacies, right? Because you haven't lived there, right? You haven't built it. For all of us getting started, I think the more that you build with AI, just the better your complete understanding of what you're able to do with AI.
Okay. See, I was planning on I didn't know class was going to be today until you had shoot me a text. I was trying to get that done before we got to the next class. So today I'm gonna make sure that I sit down after this and work on that.
Well, and I mean, if you guys want to keep doing this, I got, school starting here, but we can find a time to make it a little bit more consistent. Because I think that this is the other thing that I'm learning, right? Is one class isn't enough to do anything other than to make a student frustrated and dangerous.
For sure. Definitely.
So this idea of maybe repeated sessions where we kind of have a focus on one thing, give you an opportunity to play with it, come back with questions, kind of stagger it, I think is probably the way that this works best for everybody.
Yeah. Plus, we're on different, everybody's at a different point. Obviously, we're still at the terminal part, and then we're setting up on a desktop view. So just figuring out what works for everybody that's best. I think you're right about that.
All right, Dave, how's it going?
I have Git installed. It says Git GUI. It says open existing repository. I don't have the.
No, you should be able to, if Git's installed on your computer right now, you should be able to go back to Claude and try again what you would just try.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it just needs access to the Git software. And I can't remember exactly what the command was or the error message was. Ask one more time. Do you require Git to create skills? Because that's where it came up with me working yesterday, and that's where it came up with you today. Yeah, that's wild. So there was something there.
Okay, it looks like this time when I executed all I said was open Trello.
And it worked?
6 personal skills in Dot.
Awesome. Okay. So this is where using Claude Code, whatever other tools are out there, or other tools that are out there, the fundamental skill, right, is your ability to actually have some level of ability to read code. Because what AI is doing, AI isn't magic, right? AI is just translating what we say and turning it into code, because the only way computers do what they do is through code and commands. So if we look here, when we asked, do you require Git to create skills, it inspected its local structure here. So ls is just listing files. It's looking in our Claude skills folder. Some other parts of the commands here. Again, you don't need to necessarily know what every bit of this code is doing, but this code is searching in this folder for some skills, and then it gave us the list of actual skills. So I've got a skill for catch up that I use for catching up on my day. I've got the skill, and I think I talked about this one, for ingesting business cards, for helping me to manage contacts. I've got a skill now we built last time, for making a lesson, a skill for my good morning skill. I built a skill to help me with coming up with materials for promoting my podcast. And then I have a skill here for routing screenshots. So one of the things that I run into all day long, and we'll actually do this right now. Watch this. I think we should be able to do this. And I'll answer your question too, Mitchell, if I can actually see this here, right? So I'm going to the Claude app on my phone. I hit code here. Maybe you really can't see it, but I've got my remote control. And my remote control is looking at this. Bear with me a second. I'm going to close this one out, so I want to see if this will work. I'll disconnect remote control from here. And now in my desktop app. Look at this. I can do remote control in my desktop app. So yes, Mitchell, you can.
Coolest thing ever. Yeah, I got that set up recently. I just think it was so cool trying to explain that to somebody. They're like, what? You can do that? I'm like, yeah.
This allows me to go to lunch, take a long walk, and still actually get work done. Not that I want to be working 24/7, but I mean, sometimes, right? That's what happens. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see this here, but exactly what's now in my Claude app is exactly what's showing up on my screen. So I'm going to do this. And this is specific to my routing screenshot skill. So I have a screenshot from a conversation I had in LinkedIn. This conversation I had in LinkedIn was somebody who introduced themselves to me. If you guys, I know people make fun of me for how much I post on LinkedIn, but the amount of connections and action I get from doing that is pretty insane. So this person emailed me on LinkedIn, said, hey, Mike, I see what you're doing. I see where you live. We could have some things in common. I'd like to set up time to talk with you. Here's my phone number. That's the best way to reach me. I replied and said, hey, what's your email? Okay. All that text and all that information about what's going to happen, I could take and type that in, but that's the biggest waste of time ever. I've got the screenshot here that I just uploaded, and I'll talk to my Claude. Hey, process this screenshot using the routing screenshot skill. And what we should see here is exactly what I just said. And now it's running the skill. So it found the skill, it's launching the skill, and then it's going to go through and do what the skill asks. The skill asks it to basically process the message, create a contact for the person, follow up if it needs to via email, set an appointment if something was said about setting an appointment. Now, I don't know if this routing screenshot skill is in my GitHub repository for us, but you know what's pretty cool is we could probably add that without too much trouble. So Dave, did you get access to this? I think I shared it with you. I'll share it again. My GitHub repository for this.
How did you
project.
share it?
I think it was emailed to you.
Oh.
Or it's also here down in the chat now.
In the chat of this screencast?
Yeah.
You'd have to go to.
Oh, here. I'll Slack it to you, Dave. I'll Slack it to you.
Okay.
Yep. There it is for you in Slack.
Okay.
So
Quick question.
yeah.
So as we're in the terminal, right, and we're working in the terminal, is this coding that's going on at the same time? Like, are we running code?
Yes. I mean,
Okay.
that's what your AI is doing when it's on your computer. It's running code.
Okay.
Right? Because what did it have to do? It had to search for this file.
Filed and verified by
It had to search for this file. It had to open the file. It had to read the file. It had to take the file and what it said and turn those into actual instructions so that the computer could do what the computer could do.
Okay.
AI does not do anything other than write code that gets your computer to do things. That's the big mind shift. That's why at least being able to read code, like it's almost like think about who's learned a second language. I mean, Mitchell, I know you have, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Latin.
Latin, well, but it's usually easier to read. Your first level of understanding and the thing that can get you through is being able to read, right? I can read the menu. I can read the signs. I at least have some general understanding of what's going on. That's really only the level we need to get to now with code, is to be able to read enough of it so that and this is not for software development, this is for general AI use, right? If you're a software developer, you should be able to read every line. But for general AI use, the ability to just read code and have a general idea of what it's doing is foundational to being able to feel comfortable building with AI. So we uploaded the screenshot. We said, use the routing screenshot skill. AI used code to find it, to open it, to read it. It then went through and it did some more stuff here. It ran code. Again, this is using my Trello. So it accessed Trello because one of the things that my routing screenshots thing does when it finds a person, it wants to know if we already know that person because that makes a difference, right? So it took the person's name, it looked at my person's board in Trello, couldn't find Tom, and decided it was going to create a new one.
So you
Is Trello where you're having your contacts?
Yeah, dude, this is getting pretty wild. I mean, I'll show you. Under my various projects board, I actually have like people's names that I'm communication with. Because this place here, some people will become make it happen guests. Some people will just be other kind of that I'll work on projects with. So Trello becomes right. Here's Musa, right? We love Chef Musa over at Souk and Sabira. I've contacted him. We're talking about him being on the podcast. Boom, shalak, boom. Yes, I am using Trello for managing every single bit of data that I bit of data that I'm
Okay,
getting.
I was wondering that. Did it save it to your actual phone contacts or was it just Trello contacts that it saved it to?
It's doing both.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because here, this is where I've got the description of everything. I can say when I met him, right? Some of these things. And then
but you've got a lot more contacts in your phone contact than you have in your Trello contact.
yes, yeah, because I just started doing this. I
see.
started doing
Okay.
this.
Now, is it doing both automatically or do I have to let it know to, hey, you're already doing the Trello one, add this to my contacts as well?
Well, it's doing both automatically here. Hold on a second. Let me get out of this. Let me go back here to the blank screen, right? So this is what's happening. It read the LinkedIn message. Okay. Here's the message that came through. Beautiful thing. All right. This is it parsing out the text from the image. I've got his phone number. I asked for his email. We thanked. I gave the timing, everything else. Now here's the plan, right? This is what the skill does. This is what I've written the skill to do.
Okay.
It creates a Trello card for the person on the various projects board. In this case, because no specific time or anything was proposed, it didn't create a calendar invite. But if that message would have said, hey, let's meet tomorrow at Copper Press Coffee at 9:00, it would have actually created the calendar invite for me.
Okay.
The reply, there's nothing to reply. And it took the contact, his phone and email, and sent it to Chrome. And it had to do that through the browser because there's actually no Google API connection into their contacts for whatever reason. And now it asked me, want me to add him to Google Chrome? I will come in here and say, where did my mouse go? Did my mouse die? Oh, we'll come in here, right? Boom, 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 boom. Filed and verified. No calendar event, no draft. Next 2 week is recorded as verbatim on the card. So conversation date is unknown. Let me do this. Add to Google Contacts and put a and put on my calendar to connect with Tom in 2 weeks. So the skill did the heavy lifting for me. And now I'm just continuing with what the skill didn't do by giving it permission and then saying, follow up with them in 2 weeks because I remember that from the conversation, right? I'm never going to expect AI to do 100% of the work for me just because it if you do, it always seems to not do it the way that you might want it to do.
And you can't train it for every eventuality.
I mean, once it has enough data around how you operate, it probably can, but it doesn't have that much data yet, right?
Yeah.
So again, this is going through. What is up with my mouse here? My battery dying? Let me plug this in and see if that works. Here's the thing. People ask me, hey, Mike, what AI company should I invest in? Don't invest in an AI company, invest in the power company, because none of this works without power.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I bet, right, what this is doing, ran a command, it computed the date 2 weeks out from today. How to do that? To do with code, right? It found today's date, and then it did boom, 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 some math, some calculations to calculate 2 weeks out. Found its tools. It searched for the model context protocol, MCP. I don't know if you've heard that, but that's one of the ways that AI does what it does. It went to the calendar, right? This is all looks like JSON data to find my calendar and do all these wonderful things. Hopefully I'm not giving away passcodes. It checked my calendar for the events that are happening. It created a calendar event here. Reach out to Tom on September 1st. So now if I go to my calendar, what do you want to bet? On September 1st, reach out to Tom. It's got his phone number and it's got his freaking email. So for somebody like me, who's meeting people in 20 different places, right? And I get business cards, I get Slack messages, I get freaking LinkedIn messages, I have side conversations. Like this screenshot thing that I've built has helped me tremendously, because would I have remembered to message Tom 2 weeks from now from a LinkedIn message I got today? Probably not. But with my screenshot skill and a little bit of TLC after the fact, here it is in my calendar ready for me to execute on.
Yeah.
And not only that, right, it actually looked at my calendar, so it did it like at a time where I could do it, right? And instead of trying to overbook or do other things like that.
Yeah.
And now it needs my real Chrome logged in. So I believe if I come here, you'll see here it is, because it can't go through the API. It's coming here now and is opening up and filling out all of Tom's information for us through the browser interface that it has. And that is, if I look over here, skills, I do not have the screenshot skill here. But guess what I'm going to do for y'all? Add the screenshot skill to the Start with AI repository. And it'll do that next for us. Questions, comments, thoughts, concerns?
Now, yesterday I worked with Claude for, like I said, 2 or 3 hours and got this skill, if that's what you want to call it, set up to where it could navigate back and forth from Trello and Google Docs. So that was in the, that's something that where I'm really getting frustrated is I don't, it's the principle of what session am I in? What chat am I in? It seems like it doesn't have this holistic understanding of everything I'm doing with it. If it's in a chat, the next chat doesn't know anything about it.
I mean,
so how do you get stuff? It developed this whole thing of it understood all our naming conventions and the way we do and way our lessons are organized and stuff. And now how does that piece of information get to wherever I'm going to use it? It seems ignorant. It doesn't seem like it knows anything about this work that it did last night for 3 hours.
Well, because it doesn't.
Well, then how do you, is there a file you download and you upload and it says, okay, I understand everything about it now?
So I think this is important to understand a little bit about how Claude is structured to do what it does. And
Can I
this
try
is
to
not,
explain it before you
yeah,
finish?
go ahead, Mitch.
Can
Go ahead,
I try
Mitchell.
to answer
Yes,
it
for
to see
sure.
if I'm
Yes, go
right?
for it.
Um,
Yeah, please.
So basically, from my understanding, is that Claude works in file, and in order for it to remember what you worked on previously, you have to you basically have to save that file as a memory so it can come back to that file and read what it did previously. So kind of like when you finish wrapping up a session of like working in Claude, there's a skill that he created that we can utilize called like the daily summary, I'm pretty sure, where it wraps up what you did today and it gives you an overview of what you worked on so you continue to work on it again. So I guess to answer your question, the reason why it didn't remember what you did previously before was because you didn't save it into a file, aka like a project file, so that Claude can run that file or Claude MD file from memory to remember what you worked on. Let me know if I'm right or wrong.
It's in a good ballpark. So let me explain it this way. Claude/AI only has so much working memory. It's like, so when you see, take a look at this right here. Do you see this window from my design program here that I'm building? The only thing I really want you to see is this red bar.
It's almost full.
This is the context window. The context window is the information that Claude has or any AI would have to when it makes a request or you send a prompt, that's the knowledge around what you're doing. And just like memory everywhere, there's only so much capacity. There's only so many things it can remember at a time. It does not know and remember all of the everything, or I should say this, it doesn't have all of the everything you ever have done in context because it's not designed to work that way. It's almost like, right, you try to remember what you ate yesterday and it's in your brain somewhere, but it's not connected to exactly what you have right now. It's similar to that.
Well, but if I worked and built, like, Claude and I have this understanding about the way our lessons are organized. I should be able that what do I do so that I've got some artifact that I can upload?
Yes.
So that in a new chat, it isn't saying I don't know anything about what you're talking about.
So the first file, and let me make this a little bit larger. Again, it's not going to be that important to read it. But the first file that Claude creates and that's an exaggeration, but the first Claude that we need to care about that Claude creates is this Claude MD file. It's a markdown file, right? So the readability here, but this is its file for working with me. Its command that we've built is that it's going to reach for the API before the browser. And before opening Chrome on any system, we're going to check to see whether there's an API path and it's got the actual location of where my Trello environment variables live. So this Claude.md file is the first thing that Claude puts in its context window to understand what it's going to do for us and how I want to work with it. Now we'll see here, right? We've put in the connection here with Trello, Gmail, Google Calendar, Google Drive, Slack. And again, I didn't type any of this.
Right.
This is all kind of how Claude understands for how I'm going to work. Standing preferences, ask before drafting email. So this is the first thing that goes in the context window for how Claude is going to work with me. This one is very simple because this is my broad one for my virtual assistant. I'm going to show you another MD file right now that will, I think, Dave, be interesting because this is the one that I'm using for my curriculum build projects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's an artifact you have like in GitHub or something, and you just bring it out and upload it into a chat window, or?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
So that file is, it's like your terms of engagement. You take that file and you are starting a chat and you're going to be doing curriculum writing, and you just upload this thing. You put it in like right here. Is that what you're saying?
in the Claude MD file.
Yeah, no, the
Yes.
one, no, well, you said the one that there was a different file for how you write.
Yeah, we'll see this
Are
here.
they all called Claude MD?
I think you'll see this here. Yes.
Opened curriculum for training operations code repository Claude MD.
So,
Okay, that's interesting. So they're all called Claude MD.
and
Yeah.
different folders, which are different projects,
Yeah,
can have different Claude MD files.
yeah,
So when I open up this project here, when I come in here and either open this folder or right click, open with the terminal, wherever I open it up, that's the Claude file that it's going to look at first.
I see. Okay.
So this Claude MD file, which is the curriculum for training operators, look how long this thing is.
Right.
It's insanely long, right? So what I've done, what I did building this is, hey, Claude, we're going to come up with a set of specifications and templates and rules for how we build curriculum. So this is the curriculum and development managing workspace. It actually has the folder structure in here. So it knows how things are organized. This was important, right? This was the active build folder. This was a reference folder. The content hierarchy, I said we build curriculum and then groups of courses that have modules and lessons. This gave the definition for the terms that I was going to use for my curriculum build. And then look at this. There's a full specification for curriculum design called the Course Architecture Standard. This is a separate markdown file. So my Claude file, my Claude.md file, as my main file for how I start, right? Your start here file, it can actually reference other files that become part of your process, part of your context. So when I come into this folder and want to do some work, it's going to look at my Claude folder or my Claude file. It's going to look at that file, take in everything, all of my rules as context. It's going to then go look at these other files that are being referenced and bring those into its context as well. And this folder here, the architecture folder, contains my folder structure, my naming conventions, my file descriptions, and my design principles. So what I'm basically doing is building the documentation that Claude will use to reference for the work that it does in this project, in this folder. Our definitions, workflows, right? Our source materials live here. New course materials are going to live here. We've defined project state, right? We have active projects. This is the list of everything that's working on. It has our recently shipped projects. This was the big one, Dave, because I think this is where, and anybody that's building complex things. So the process here is a multi-step process. Each process is defined as its own document. Why do I do it that way? Because sometimes
Screenshot routing is committed to add screenshot routing skill.
Why do I do it that way? Because while all of these processes typically are used sequentially in the course build, sometimes I actually use them as one-offs. So in this case here, when I start a new course, sometimes I'm building a brand new course from nothing, and that's where I use this new course onboarding skill, or not skill, but process. Sometimes I'm taking an existing course and fixing it. This course ingestion is actually doing that for me. Sometimes I'm updating the course. I'll use this. Sometimes I'm developing content. When I'm creating HTML interactives, when I'm creating my slide decks, each of those is a different process that's designed. We can look at it. This is actually part of the same Claude skill. Sorry, it's not a separate file. But all of these pieces here for how I build curriculum are in this, 1,000-line file, 500-line file. Is that helping, Dave?
Yeah, kind of.
So as an example for what you're doing, right? In your Trello, I think what you want to say is,
Last night, Claude worked my Trello board and kind of massaged it and set it up a little differently than I had it.
okay,
And there was a lot of old crap in it, and it just moved everything through the. You could see him going to the different lists, marking that done, going to the different lists. It restructured those cards so they had they were consistent.
okay,
And now that board is kind of like reworked, and it was within the same, general architecture that the workflow that I, set up for it a year or two ago when I first started doing it. I abandoned it because it took more work to maintain the Trello cards than it did to do the work.
yeah,
But I see, I see a great amount of potential here. If I've got a slave that's going to, if I've got this AI that's going to manage all those Trello cards, then it's just going to ask me, is this done or whatever? And all I have to do is just do the real work and communicate with it with comments in the Google Docs.
yes,
That's kind of what I saw. And so all I'm trying to do is figure out, we did this project last night. Now, where is that MD file? There's a Claude MD file somewhere that needs to be somewhere so that I can just call it when, run the Trello script. I don't know I think it calls it productivity or something like that. I can't remember what it called it. It gave it a name.
and ask your Claude, have you asked it for its list of available skills? Ask it for the skills that you created, see what comes up.
Okay.
And then the other thing too is, again, because it only has in its working memory its context window, sometimes you have to remind it. Like I'll wake up in the morning and say, "Hey Claude, let's continue working on what we did yesterday." Well, if I started a new session or something that's not in its context window, or no, I'll do this. I'll say, we worked on something yesterday, but I say, "Hey Claude, let's start working on project X." It doesn't know that we worked on it yesterday. So I have to remind it, "Hey Claude, no, we worked on this yesterday." And then it can go look at its session history and its memories to find it. The best thing I can say right now is treat your AI like an entry-level employee who's out smoking dope between sessions. Is that Paula? Is she laughing at me?
Yeah, she laughed at you.
Yeah, because it makes entry-level mistakes. You have to remind it where it's at, and sometimes it has the memory of a goldfish, and sometimes it just does dumb stuff. So it's like a horny teenager, really.
Okay. Well, all right.
So yeah, I would ask it right now, see if it can find it for you.
In this, I'm in code.
Yes. And while you're doing that, you can see here when you're working, and Mitchell, this may be where you sometimes find a benefit of using Claude in the desktop. It does have this visual view over here, which will pop up when it creates some things. I really like this. Usually when I'm working in the terminal, I'll just have Claude like show me a presentation or open up the files external. But the desktop app does a really good job of bringing some of these things together, right?
Okay.
So this was the screenshot routing. Screenshot arrives. It extracts 6 fields, looks to see if every field is legible. If there's a date that's attached. If not, it's going to ask me for a date. Creates the card, creates the calendar, creates the contact, creates the draft, all that happy stuff here. Now it's asking me, now it's asking me 2 things I verified, 1 judgment called the flag, want me to push the branch or open a PR. Within GitHub, who's familiar with pull requests in GitHub? All right, I'm not going to confuse anything here, but a class in GitHub, I would go take an introduction to GitHub class so you have a decent understanding of how GitHub works, because GitHub is one of the tools that software developers use for managing a code base. And really, that's what we're talking about doing, right? We're going to eventually be building tools with code that does some of this work for us to make the work more deterministic. We don't want to rely on AI to do everything if we can just write a line of code that could actually do the work for us. So it's a combination of using AI to build the tool with code that then doesn't rely on AI to do the work every single time. Like when I build classes, when I build courses, the conversion from a markdown document to a PDF, that can all be done with lines of code and some software. I don't have AI actually do the work. AI just triggers the work to be done with code. That's another way to think about it, right? So here we go. You can see over on the left, I asked AI Claude to open up a pull request. So if I go over to GitHub here, a pull request is just asking to add new code into a code base. So if we look at the files changed, my flowcharts MD changed, my setup document changed. This is the skill, the screenshot routing skill that's being brought in. This is all of the text that the skill says, right? There's Python in here. It's using Python to actually view the image, right? AI can't view an image, but AI can call a library from Python to actually view an image. All AI really does is translate text and then create code. Awesome. Or call code that already exists. So here's all the steps. I like this. This looks good. So I come in here. Again, I'm going to merge this pull request. Merging a pull request just brings it into our main code base. And if I go now to code and skills, here's my screenshot routing skill that you all now have access to from that GitHub repository.
Now, I know you said we should take a class on GitHub just to learn the ins and out of it. Should we take the class, or should I, ask Claude to, hey, what are some essential things I should learn with GitHub?
Either one.
Just to make it a little bit quicker.
Yeah, because what's really nice with GitHub, and this is what you'll find, right? So GitHub here, if I go to GitHub and it's docs, like GitHub's documentation is actually phenomenal. Like if you ever want to create documentation, I would start by using GitHub as a reference because
recap deck.
Because all of this is so well documented. Guess who else has access to this?
Everybody else.
AI,
okay.
Right? So yes, I would probably do, again, for where you all are at, and Dave, with how you like to build lessons and stuff, I would say, hey, Claude, let's build an intro to GitHub class.
Plus, I feel like most people don't even know what GitHub is. You know what I mean?
So here's the reality. Most people don't know how folders and files are organized on a computer. Most people don't know basic computer code and how programs even work. Most people have no clue how data is stored or used. And AI is built on all three of those things. And when it comes to folders and files and code and even data, like GitHub is one of the major tools that people use to organize their code, to collaborate with code, and communicate with others about code. So GitHub is a foundational skill, I'm going to argue, for people who want to build with AI.
Okay.
GitHub would be a place, Dave and Paula, where you've got scripts that you've written and you want students to have access to it. You could just put those scripts in GitHub, share the link like I'm sharing this link with you, and now your students would have access to it. And let's say that there was an error that you needed to change. You can just go ahead and change it, and then everybody has access to the updated file.
So I got to leave class a little bit early. I'm kind of disappointed by this, but I have my niece's birthday party.
I didn't mean to disappoint you.
No, not you. It's just I got my niece's birthday party that starts at 5, and I got to drive 20 minutes.
this is all being recorded, and we'll be able to do some other stuff. I mean, you know where to find me, dude. We'll just keep working.
Absolutely. And then it's recorded too, so it'll be still on the YouTube once it's done.
Correct. I think the last one I pulled down because I had Alana's contact info and I didn't want all of that out there.
Okay.
But what I plan to do is I'm going to take the transcript from that and turn it into an actual lesson document with some stuff that you can reference once I get time to breathe.
Okay.
If anything, can you make it unlisted and just share it as a link? That way,
Yeah, I can do
people
that
with
too.
the link can just do that. Okay.
Yeah, I can do that too.
Awesome. Thanks, guy. I appreciate you. You all have a great rest of your day.
Good seeing you again.
Thanks,
You
Mitchell.
as well.
So I do want to just tease what hooks are. I'm not going to go into hooks yet because you haven't had enough time to practice skills. But do you see this thing that just popped up over here on the screenshot to shipped?
Yeah.
This presentation was actually triggered by something called a hook. So if we go back to my repository, we've got a folder here for hooks and for skills. Skills are like a one-off tool that you could pull out of your toolbox and use, right? Hey, I'm going to grab the hammer, I'm going to hammer some nails, I'm going to grab the screwdriver and screw some screws. These are things that you can say, hey, Claude, do this, okay? Hooks are things that happen automatically. So this recap deck hook, after a substantial session. So sometimes Claude, the way I have Claude set up, will do a whole lot of things. And I sometimes like, what the freak did we even just do, Claude? After a substantial session, this will ask Claude to publish a short recap slide deck to let me know what happened. What a hook is it's actually triggered on an event. So you start up Claude for the first time. It can run a hook that would do like maybe your morning routine or something to that effect, right? For you, a hook at the end of the day, this is, hey, Claude, I'm ending this session. So automatically you end the session, this hook will run, and that hook will then take everything that you did and maybe create a log of what happened so it knows what to reference next time. A hook is an automated process. What'd she say? What'd Paula say?
She said she just.
I need an AI that will give me your brain. Will it do it? So I can.
No, you don't want this. You don't want this. Well, you know what? And I'm going to argue, like, you know, us as teachers, we know this, right? The first time we show something to somebody, it's like riding a bike. They can't do it. It doesn't make sense. It's new concepts, it's new words, it's new ways of thinking. Like it's all frustrating because you just don't know, right? And it's only after you've struggled and fumbled and farted around. This is why, Dave, do not try to build like your ultimate dream thing right now, because that's just going to frustrate you, right?
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I just want to manage a particular process. You said last week, what's something that you need help with? And I said, I need help with when I've got a bunch of lessons to write or a bunch of that kind of work to do. I need a way to organize it so it doesn't just fall apart or not get done, or get done and be, this one's not like that one, but it should be, you know, that kind of stuff. How to get consistency with the stuff that I'm working on. And writing lessons is a pretty complicated skill. You know, it's not like scanning a business card. That's pretty straightforward. It's got captions and data points, and that's all it is, and it knows what to do with every single one of them.
So this is what let's walk through something right now, okay? Because I want you to see this. I think this will help, right? So let's create a simple template for a lesson. This will be a MD file that we can use to make sure every lesson we create matches the template.
Well, that's what I did last night.
Okay.
All I want to, my frustration today is how do I get that thing? Because I believe it's done, or at least a good first stab at
Have ask Claude right now. Say last night we worked on this. Can you find it?
it. Yeah, I did that, and it said you can't find anything about it. I said, well, it was in the home context, not the code context. Does that matter? It says, oh yeah, it matters.
Okay. What
So
did it say about it mattering?
It says, yeah, it matters. The session tools list sessions, search sessions, transcripts only cover CCD co-work agent sessions. Conversations tied to a working directory like this one. So CCD co-work agent sessions is what I was doing last night.
So
Here, I'm over here in the code world, conversations tied to a working directory like this one. A home context conversation in the Claude app is separate, regular chat thread. I don't have a way to search or read that history from here. So it says go to home and get a summary, or see if you can get a summary of what you did that day.
Well,
and then bring it over here and it might be able to find it.
So do this. Click on your home, right? So go back to home. Do you have your chat and tasks? Can you see the one where you had the conversation yesterday?
There was something called co-work setup, and it's not it's not got very much here.
But where you started talking about the skill and everything else is in one of these chats.
Yeah.
And you can find that chat.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So now in the message, I would do this. I would say, I want to start using Claude Code. It can't find the files and the work that we did in this session. Create a document or give me some text that I can paste into Claude Code to find what I need. It is really, really frustrating and weird why Claude Home and Claude Code, maybe it's for a reason, but the bucketed thing, the way Claude buckets its work is sometimes a little frustrating. That it can't see across the fence, right? Or even through a glass window sometimes. And then as it's looking for that, as you scroll up, do you see like a Google Drive drop down or any of these things kind of floating around?
Yeah, I've seen them before. When it creates an MD, it'll put it in a Google Drive. There's not one in this, there's not one in here.
Oh, okay. Is there any files created in here? In your chat from yesterday? It might show up in the side view here.
It created a status report because that was the last thing I asked it to do. Give me a report so that I know what we did today. But
can you take that status report and put it into your code?
So if I go here to Google, it's going to open up a Google window, I presume. There's not much here, but maybe it'll make sense. So I have to download it as a markdown.
You don't even have to download it. You could just copy paste what's in there.
Wait a minute. I think I can share it. Okay, so if I go back over here to Claude. So I just said, here's a summary of what we did last night. It's the MD that it created over in Google Doc, and I pasted the sharing link. So
Okay.
now it's cranking through it.
Let's see what it says. Because those files in that session and everything will live on your computer. It's just a matter, again, it's not in the Claude Code context window. You know what we should probably do for our next session, Dave? We should probably hang out face to face.
Oh, yeah, I know you're starting school next week.
Yeah, we start Tuesday next week.
Yeah, we start the 9th. So I just know that you're not gonna have bandwidth once that starts, and I don't want to try and jump.
I'll have bandwidth because the big thing is these 2 weeks just getting my classes up and ready. But after these 2 weeks, I'll be in a decent spot. I'll have time.
Yeah. Do you still during the school year? Do you still go into the tech loft or to the loft on Fridays?
No, I will not be here on Fridays, but I will be here on probably Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Because Thursday's a slack day for us. We don't have any classes.
I mean, Thursday afternoon, we could find time.
In a couple of weeks, like 3 weeks out.
Yeah. I mean, here we go. Watch this. Find a time on a Thursday afternoon, 3 to 4 weeks out, where I could meet with Dave Schoaf in person at the loft to talk about AI. I don't do any work anymore.
So it is asking me about things that are mentioned in that document.
Okay.
All I have to do is just, I guess, keep answering the questions it has, and it will understand this document. But this document may not be the real meat. It's only responding to what it sees in this document. It doesn't necessarily mean that this, because I know we basically built a whole way of doing things, because it said all you have to do is run this and it'll do it.
You're in home right now again, right?
Right now, I'm back in code, and I pasted that document.
Hop back over to home while the code is working. And have you asked it where it built the skill? Or where it put the skill.md file?
Checked all 3 calendars. Here's the reality. September 17th is out. You're in North Carolina, September 13th to 20, all day block on your calendar. So of the 2 Thursdays in your 3 to 4 week window, only one survives. Thursday, September 10th is the answer, with one wrinkle. Your morning is spoken for on the Defiant side.
Okay. You want an invite for Thursday the 10th?
I'm looking at our calendar now, Dean.
You are, Paula?
Yeah.
My AI in the other room is checking my calendar.
That's hilarious.
Thursday the 10th is good.
Thursday the 10th is good.
What time, Paula?
It's clear, pretty much.
Clear? Okay. Let's go ahead and send Dave and Paula Schoaf an invite for Thursday, September 10th, 2 to 5 p.m. at the Loft 419 downtown.
Okay, good.
Yeah, because I think we're at the point right now. I hopefully have inspired you to the point of frustration where we need to sit and eat together.
Well, it's asking me questions about what I want to do next. So that was a good question. It said there's not a separate skill sitting somewhere waiting to be found. What we built breaks down into 3 different things, and it's worth being precise about where each one actually lives, since that explains exactly why Claude Code can't find it.
Okay. And at this point, I might say, summarize I want to do this in code, summarize what I need in order to be able to get Claude to build the skill that we talked about. Paul at coolcatscience.net or .org?
.org.
No, not .org, Paula. That's
yeah,
not.
I'm a .net still.
Yeah. It's Paula S at coolcatscience.net.
Paula S?
Yeah, Paula S.
Okay. Paul, I'm inviting you as well. I'm inviting Dave's AI.
Okay, I'll be there.
And it's so funny. Like if I look here, my virtual assistant, right? Checking whether to build a recap deck. Every time I run commands, it's kind of gauging how much we've done to determine whether or not it needs to build one of these recap decks. But these recap decks, again, that's the hook that's running kind of the automation, right? This actually goes through and really does a good job of helping
Caught it. The invite went out
visualize
to
what we did.
paulas.org a moment.
Because, I mean, I'm going to show you something, and it's probably going to freak you out a little bit, maybe. Maybe not.
Oh, it's all your slide decks from every day.
No, like, so stop this screen share. Let me share this screen. Oh, hi, Paula. Now I can see you. This screen right here, these are my 4 AI agents that I manage and are working for my curriculum build at school, my virtual assistant, side hustle 1, side hustle 2.
Yeah. We just have 9 classes we have to plan for. We should not be complaining.
Well,
9 classes a week. Sorry.
No, we
9
don't
classes a week.
We don't have 9 classes a
We
week.
have.
Yeah.
Anyway, yep, 9 a week.
So go slow. It is easy to make a big mess. Go slow and try to, you know, what I asked to is hey, Claude, open up that folder where you created that file. So I kind of can see where it was created, right?
Yeah.
Don't just let it do all of this stuff blindly for you, right? Try to make sure you have some semblance of understanding of what it's doing under the hood, right? Where Claude, where are my templates? Show me my templates.
Yeah.
Because again, what will happen as a entry level stoned horny teenager, it's going to do all kinds of weird stuff. You always want to be kind of checking up on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Sounds good. And you slacked me the GitHub.
Yeah, and I'll show you this just real fast so that you can see. All you really need to do here, you have the link to this. Are you familiar with GitHub?
We used to use it at work. I didn't use it
Okay.
per se, but I know we would check stuff in, check stuff out.
I know
We
I
would
gotta find a video and watch
we
it.
would fork that
Okay.
fork
I mean-
something and
I'll
and
find
really-
a video and watch it. You don't have anyone you specially recommend, is there?
No.
Okay, all right.
And in all honesty, like for you just to use this business card skill, like all you would have to do maybe is come in here, right? Business card. The easiest thing would actually just be to grab all of this text and copy it. Or you can actually download the raw file. You could download this file.
Yeah, it's just MD. It's human readable.
Yep. And then I come over here and I'd say, hey, I want to start using this skill, Claude. And then it's going to go ahead and put it where it should put its skills.
Mm.
You can actually even, I believe, download this entire folder if you really wanted to, any of these folders.
Yeah.
So maybe somewhere. Anyway, or no, duh, dude, I'm so stupid. Just do this, Dave. Take the freaking link. Since it's public, Claude can read all of this. Copy the URL, put into Claude, say, hey, there's the URL, right? Walk me through
You dismissed the questions, so I'll hold here and not
adding
write
these
anything.
skills.
When you're ready, the 2 open points are whether the template mirrors make a lesson 6.
Yeah. What's funny is I now have confirmation that Claude in the
Background
terminal,
notice only. The recap artifacts
is exactly like Claude, or not exactly, but is wired in direct the same way that Claude Code is in the desktop, because that voice thing is set to work up on my terminal, not actually in my Claude desktop app. So here, right? I just pasted in the URL, walk me through adding these skills, and now it's doing that. So that's all you have to do.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to run, folks.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hopefully, feel free to always Slack me if you're getting frustrated with stuff. I can help.
Okay. Sounds
Make
good.
you more frustrated. All right. Have a good night, guys.
You too. Thanks.
Bye.
Here's the flow and one caveat that matters for your machine specifically. The